Couldn't look away from the train wreck. You can blame it on the tech for the disrespect. Before you play, you better button check.
What is up, Butt Check family? Welcome back to yet again a beautiful day of checking these buttons. It is HT, the most glorious day of the week, and my bad. I know yesterday I said I was going to post 2 videos. Well, I got behind because there was that other video I forgot that I had to do for a sponsor, so I was behind. But either way, I promise today we got 2 because we got to celebrate HT. So I got this video here, and then one I promised tonight because I'm already working on it. That one's going to be celebrating HT, but this one is an important one. This one just dropped. I saw the story on it a few days ago around the time that what was going on EWC, so it kind of got put on the back burner, but it's here. FGC officially reacting. We got clips for Maximilian, all content creators, their links down below, because we're about to unpack. Things seem to be changing in a big way, but you be the judge because it goes deeper than that. So without further ado, I'm already talking too much. Links down below, sub button, all that good stuff. Without further ado, let's get these buttons. Let's go. Right here, starting with Fighting Games Daily, posting this saying, Sony sells co-ownership of EVO. Sony Interactive Entertainment sells its stake at EVO to Nodwin Gaming, an Indian-based esports group, also a Sony-backed company which specializes in producing events for PUBG and Valorant. Nodwin Gaming will join RTS in co-ownership of EVO. Sony will continue to support EVO as a sponsor and partner through PlayStation tournaments. Now, the reason why I highlighted RTS is because, believe it or not, that is Pokémon's company. Did y'all remember? Did y'all forget? Pokimane is part owner of EVO in a way. Right here it says Pokimane does not directly own EVO, the fighting game tournament. However, she's co-founder of the talent management and brand consulting firm RTS, which co-owns EVO with Sony. Therefore, while not owning it individually, her company RTS is part owner of EVO. I believe they're stockholders, so Pokimane is in the mix. I keep forgetting about this, but anyway, FGC reacting saying there's more money in the FGC than ever, but it's not for you. Laugh my ass off, and this aligns with Sony shifting their focus away from hardware business to more platform model. We'll see less PS5s in the tournaments, which in my view could be a good thing. Maybe Smash comes back to EVO. Others are saying that as well, like, yo, is Smash coming back? Because if Smash is coming back, I'll be going if that's the case. So obviously remains to be seen. Others adding to this as well, saying PS5's overheating at Sony events and causing losses. Maybe the optics and the ROI isn't worth it. And then even more right here saying, yeah, but I think this year really showed Sony that EVO is not very profitable and they're broke after their recent failures. I mean, you got a lot of guesses of what's going on. And in baby terms, is this good or bad? They say, I guess we could see less PS5s, so that's a good start. We might see EVO event in South Asia as well. Maximilian reacts as well, so we'll get to that in a second. But wrapping it up right here, they say, gotta love how eventually everything you love will sell it so for profit and shareholders. Esports used to be so pure. I don't know if esports used to be so pure. I can see the FGC used to be pure. Grassroots used to be pure. But I think the whole invention of esports was the fucking mark of everything not being pure. In my perspective. Anyway, Maximilian right here speaks on it. His link down below.
Fully invested in being like a live events sort of company again. It doesn't feel like they've really ever had the coordination for it. Every single time that I heard about like EVO being owned by Sony, it didn't feel like their kind of like involvement was really deep. It wasn't like an E3 thing. The most we saw was probably like Tokon being here this year and the fact that all the games were on PlayStation. Am I surprised that Sony was like willing to sell this off in some way? Not at all. Is this like that surprising that this happened? In my opinion, not really. And I'm kind of surprised that it went as long as it did. But anyway, let's actually read into this and see what's going on. I'll try to translate some of this stuff based on, what I understand it. The multi-year partnership with Kidia and Sony Interactive Entertainment and now and new ownership of EVO by Nodwin Gaming, alongside existing shareholder RTS, will fuel the global growth of events, content, and experiences. Okay, so partnerships. So this is kind of like sponsorships, right? Like a really high quality sponsor. Kidia and Sony are sponsoring EVO now, not owning, sponsoring, but the new owner is Nodwin Gaming now owns EVO. RTS is the shareholder. What the heck is Nodwin Gaming? India-based entertainment and esports media media production company. So they run absolutely massive esports events for like the past near 10 years around PUBG and mobile games and things like that. And a lot
All right, so let's stop right there. So once again, he highlighted Nodwood Gaming to figure out who they are, how they run things, but also you see underneath that it said alongside existing shareholder RTS, which once again is Pokemon's group. I remember it got announced like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. My timing is pretty bad at times trying to remember this stuff, but yeah, 2 or 3 years ago, where Pokemon was an investor, and a lot of people are like, what does this mean? Does she own EVO, yada yada? But it's really a silent partner, because you don't really see her, as far as I know, you know, I'm not watching her streams or anything, but I don't ever see anything go viral when it comes to EVO and Pokemon. If anything, it's always something else that she's doing. I don't really hear her being too vocal about it. So she might just be more behind the scenes as far as like a shareholder. And I know RTS is more so investing in streamers and content creation. So obviously that's how she made her fortune. So it looks like she took some of that money and invested back into that community as far as like trying to help streamers, trying to help content creators, just basically trying to help them grow.
Other stuff. Pretty huge in the esports overseas sort of like saturation. So that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense that they're wanting to invest in fighting game stuff. They do DreamHack? Okay, well, you know, if that is the case, then that starts to make a lot of sense. The fact by SIE's parent, Sony Group Corp. Oh, they like sold it to themselves? SIE's parent. Wait a minute. Oh, so SIE sold the stake in EVO to Nodwin Gaming, which is a company that's already backed by SIE's parent company group, or the Sony Group Corporation. SIE will become a new global sponsor of EVO through 2028 and will continue its commitment to make fighting game community through the PlayStation Tournament platform. Yeah, which is already what's been happening. You know what this sounds like? In the exact same way, this isn't some weird tax loophole thing, chat. Sony was, like I just said, they weren't particularly great at like the huge event coordination stuff when they already have huge stake in another company that is big into giant media esports event shit, which is Nodwin Gaming. So it sounds like, hey, you guys do this. I'm wondering, has anybody from EVO officially said that they're not there anymore? Because
stop right there. Okay, so if that's true, where Max is going with this, it doesn't seem like much is going to change. This whole speculation about EVO is not profitable, or, well, I can't even say that at this point, but the whole PS5 thing, right? Because we've been talking about PS5s being ass at tournaments for so long. They might start off good, but there's an overheating problem, and it's constantly happening, and we've been speaking about this for a good minute. So because what Max is saying now is like, yo, the new company taking over seems like they're already backed by Sony. So that's why it was like, yo, Sony sold it to themselves. So it does seem more of like one of those things where like, you guys already do this. We have like, you know, investment in y'all already. So why don't y'all take it over? We're already technically working with you already. Basically saying like, yo, we already have stock in you guys. So we'll back up. You guys take over. EVO is booming. It's growing. We're having what, like 4 now? So you guys take over and we'll back up. If that's the case, then at the end of the day, is Sony really selling? Are they really like this whole headline? The whole headline's kind of scary when you first read it because you're like, what? Like everything's changing, but on the plus side, maybe we're gonna have PCs now. But if it's really like this, how Max is kind of pointing it out, it doesn't look like the PS5 will really go anywhere.
A new management is moving in and we're being pushed out. I think there would be proper information on that like immediately if like Rick and the appropriate parties at B are not directly involved anymore. Everything pretty much sounds like it stays the same. What it really sounds like is obviously Kidia is making a huge investment into RTS, which is also directly invested and owns EVO. What it really sounds like is that this is a shift of transition of like a shift of power to people that better manage this stuff. My hearing of this was immediately like, oh boy. But it more sounds like Sony as a company and their involvement in EVO was never particularly felt like it lined up because Sony has no live events shit, bro. They have like nothing. And EVO is literally a giant 4-thing-per-year event, live event, one every quarter. The only thing that's sort of challenging about this is that EVO as an event doesn't have, I would say, the mystique because there's so many of them now. It's expanding as a company. It's doing what companies properly do. It's going to different places. It's going to different areas. It's going to different avenues. This is all relatively good for the parties at B to get it as a more global fighting game esports brand, which is literally what they're going for. Relatively separate separate from everything that I've ever been associated with EVO for. And that's the thing, is that I'll always be a part of like the grounded grassroots aspect of it. As a reminder, chat, I have never been paid to do anything directly at EVO except commentary. And I think I earned maybe $150 to do commentary back in like 2014 with that. But we pretty much do it with our own time and our own budget, and it's very expensive.
All right, finishing right there. That's interesting. I didn't know that Max did not get paid to be at EVO. He later goes on to say that the only thing they do for him is like they set up, they give him the room so they can stream. I guess he can play some cool games, possibly meet some devs. So it's kind of like a win-win trade-off situation, but he doesn't get paid. If anything, like he just said, we spend our own money and it's expensive as hell. So that's crazy to me that the biggest content creator that we have in the FGC does not get paid. And obviously he probably does it to, you know, out of the kindness of his heart. So cool thing, but that's still shocking to me. But anyway, the reason why you might be you might be wondering, usually when I title a video, it has a title, but it says something in text on the video, like on the thumbnail. This one I was thinking of putting something like goodbye grassroots or grassroots is dead, something like that. And I'm not sure if I did that, but either way, I'm trying to tell you my thought process. The reason why is not necessarily because of this. I don't think what we're seeing here, this is just me guessing, once again, we're all kind of just speculating, but I don't think just because of this, oh, FGC is officially dead. Grassroots is officially dead. This is the nail in the coffin. No, I think what's happening now is just a forward motion of what's already been happening. The inertia of esports already has been taking us there. This is just something that was going to happen the whole time. For me though, it was more of a response of the FGC and how we've been feeling lately. You know, these comments of all about, there's so much money, but none of it's for you. Oh, goodbye grassroots, or everything is selling its soul. Everything you love will eventually sell its soul. You know, stuff like that. Because these are real thoughts and feelings that the FGC has been having. You had that infamous moment with Mike Ross. I don't like esports, even though it was a joke, but it was kind of not really a joke. Mike Ross did another interview not too long ago. I think it was on the EVO channel, and we showed it here, where he was like, they asked us to speak at the White House, and I didn't want to do it. I wasn't ready for all of that, but I did it. But I was dying on the inside. He was like, I know where things go from here. And that's why he kind of disappeared. And then he had to have a whole, talk with his family and get him in the right mindset, all this other thing, right? And he basically came to the conclusion, like, his family was telling him, boo-hoo, just do it. Things are what they are. Go back. Find your passion again. Find your love for the community again in a different way. And that's how he ended up where he is now in Singapore. But anyway, I say all that to say this. Mike and a lot of people called it out a long time ago before we didn't even see it. We didn't even know what the hell esports was. They saw like, this thing is going to take us where we might not want to go. And here's the reality, y'all. Let me know. Okay, first, I'm not gonna lie. First, I had a bit of a hot take because I was thinking for a while, like, in a way, what's the big deal? We watch sports and stuff all day, right? NBA, NFL. And when it comes to these things, these teams, billionaires, millionaires, trillionaire, whatever kind of damn money, right? They get all the money. We're just the fans. We just watch. We support. We buy tickets. We buy merchandise, all this stuff. And we got no problem with that. We watch our athletes perform and we support them as the fans. They get huge contracts, huge sponsors. We never complain. We just watch them and we cheer on because we love it. We love the entertainment. We are a fan of this thing. We might play some football on the side with our friends or something like that. Hell, we might be on the high school team or the college team or something like that. But yet, still, we never complain at the end of the day. But when it comes to the FGC, for some reason, we have that mentality that the more money comes in, we have a tendency to be like, no, our players, right? The top 1%. You hear that all the time. We throw that out. Well, it's just the 1%. We can cheer for money all day, but it doesn't go to us. It goes to the 1%. And these tournaments grow. It's no longer grassroots. Everything's corporate America. We don't like the way this feels. And for a long time, I felt like, well, why can we support, say something like the NFL and the NBA with no problem? But when it comes to that happening in our very own community, like the FGC, we seem to have a big problem. And I figured it out because, like I said, for a while, I thought, oh, it's the same thing as the NFL or something like that. But the more I thought about it, I was like, it's really not, man, because the FGC, the FGC is not that old. It's so young, matter of fact, that our OGs who started it are still here. Some of them are still competing, or they're TOs now, or content creators. They are still here. Most of us here, matter of fact, most of you watching this channel, remember like the FGC or EVO when it first started. You have roots in this community. And most of us, if you consider yourself FGC, have given to the FGC in some way. Whether it's your money, your time, your knowledge, your content creation, whatever it is. You've given back some way to the community. Therefore, it's almost like we all feel, in a way, that we've helped build this community. It's not like the NFL in any way, if you think about it that way. It's like we've that just established without us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just fans, and it's kind of always been that way. With this, we feel like, hey, we are legit the FGC. We're the ones that show up to the tournaments. We're the ones that buy these games. We're the ones that help devs. Obviously, devs help us as well, but you know what I'm saying? We give the feedback. We're the ones, the players, literally in this community that somehow took it upon themselves to form organizations, to create an EVO, to create a CEO. It was the players in this community that somehow figured out a way to create these big organizations or tournaments that we know today. And from there, obviously, it grew, sponsors came in. Here comes esports out of left field, and here we are now. And I think this is where the big disconnect comes, because most of us remember all that time. Most of us, at least a little bit, if not all of it, at least, a little bit of it. We have this feeling of like Sony sells, Pokemon comes in, right? New sponsors come in. It's almost like we see before us, we just feel like this whole corporate PG transition happening little by little. And we see it. Sometimes, whether it's in a banned player that we're like, why the hell were they banned for that? Or why the hell weren't they banned for that? You know what I'm saying? We see like some favoritism bullshit. We see some censored bullshit. Have y'all realized that a lot of these tournaments, I think even at the EWC, ones that are considered esports now, they don't say losers bracket anymore. Remember when that thing first came out? Ed Boon was like, hey y'all, let's get rid of the lowers bracket. Let's do, what did he say? No, let's get rid of the losers bracket. Let's do lower bracket for positive reinforcement, some stuff like that. And everybody was like, bullshit, we don't want that, get that out of here, right? So we kind of crapped on that. It's here now. You see that way more in tournaments now. They kind of just crept it in, and we really don't say anything. We just take it like, okay, at the end of the day, is it really all that bad? But it's here. It's not really losers bracket like it used to be. And obviously, that's not the biggest change, when it's all said and done. But little things come in. And it's just this feeling of us losing things, because we're in this weird spot. We're constantly seeing new life and death at the same time. We're looking at our locals. We're looking at where we came from and the people that we used to get together with. It's basically non-existent now. Now, that's not to say that groups still don't meet around the world and play some games and run that set. It's just like how it was. We've been preaching this for years, and I know probably COVID had a big thing to do with it, but still, we're watching these things like, man, we're dwindling. It's definitely not how it used to feel. But at the same time, we're looking at all this new life and money and sponsors and promotion and lights and camera and action. We're growing, but we're dying. You know what I'm saying? It's this weird feeling. And if anything, for real, wrapping it up right here with Max, what he said, if anything, EVO loses like its prestige now because now there's 4 of them. He was like, I'll always be a part of the grassroots part. And to remind you guys, I don't get paid from this. I do it out of the love. And we've been talking about that for a while. Remember, we took a poll here on the channel. We were like, do you guys really care or not that we have 4 EVOs now? I would say it's still mixed reviews, because some people say no because we can't travel. So it's cool as hell that we could finally attend an EVO where we live in the part of the world. But a lot of other people are like, yeah, well, there is, but EVO Vegas should always be considered the main one. Other people talk about they should get all the EVO champions to fight each other, you know what I'm saying, to see who the real champion is. We're never going to agree, but I think maybe, possibly, we could all agree that it does feel weird. We are witnessing history, and we experiencing it like in real time. In real time. For so long, we've made fun of the FGC. Hell, I remember when Button Check started back in 2012, 2017, 2018, something like that. And we were always clowning on ourselves, broke. We're broke, we're broke, we're broke. Esports wants nothing to do with the FGC. We are broke, and now look at us. Now we're here. It's almost like this weird, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? Because we wanted the money. We wanted the recognition. We wanted to grow. We've always wanted that. Sometimes we didn't believe it could happen, and now we got it. But there's a lot of this that comes with it. And a lot of this doesn't feel good. But it's only going to get bigger. And it's only going to grow. So now I find myself thinking kind of like Mike Ross and how his family was talking to him like, boo-hoo. Get over it. Find the piece of the pie that you do like, that does taste good to you, and indulge in that. Don't worry about everything else. Just worry about you can control. But that's how I'm feeling. And I don't blame you if you feel a different way. Let me know. And that was Butt Check family. Definitely let me know how you are feeling. This was a hot one, man. We got definitely, like I said, another video late tonight. So hope you guys enjoy that one. Thank you for the massive love. We do have a sponsored video tomorrow morning. Once again, tomorrow I'm going to drop 2. Tomorrow morning is going to be an early sponsored video. And then the later one is going to be a regular episode of Button Check. So hope you guys get down with that. Either way, thank you guys for the amazing love. I will see you later tonight. And as always, I don't know what it is, but I know somehow, some way, it's about to get better. Love y'all forever. Peace.
Blah, blah, blah. Subscribe.
You can.